BBC Two with more analysis, and of course here on BBC One the news continues with all of my colleagues in the nations and regions standing by with the news where you are. But for now, from all of us on the 10 team, it's good night.
Thanks, Hugh. Good evening. On Up North tonight, could a hosepipe ban be on the way? With reservoir levels down and demand up, Yorkshire Water say we're to use water wisely. Hello, good evening. As temperatures hit 30 degrees in Yorkshire, there are warnings that water shortages could be a real possibility this summer. Reservoir levels are now as low as they were in 1995, when the county was hit by severe drought. Paul Hudson has more.
Middle of a drought so severe that some parts of the region came within 10 days of running out of water. Hosepipe bans were widespread. An increasingly desperate Yorkshire Water had to resort to bringing water in by tanker from the east of the county and later from Kielder Reservoir in Northumberland.
These tankers are a valuable lifeline into West Yorkshire, but they can't be enough to solve all of our water needs and the problem that we face at the moment. At the end of the day, it's rainfall, which we can't count on, and it's customers who can help by cutting their demand.
This is Fewston Reservoir in the Washburn Valley. It's one of 3 reservoirs that supplies drinking water to Leeds, but persistent dry weather over the last 12 months has meant that water levels are well below average. Now, this time last year, water stock stood at 80%. During the warm, dry summer of 2018, they stood at 70%. But right now, we're at 62%, and worryingly, that's the same level that we found ourselves in during that infamous drought of 1995. It's a drought that has crept up on us almost unnoticed. Rainfall levels in autumn were well below average, and although normal levels fell in winter, spring was exceptionally dry, and that trend has continued into early summer. I spoke to Neil Jewis from Yorkshire Water about the current situation. It will set some alarm bells ringing to some who remember that infamous drought of 1995. I mean, are we heading in that direction?
Well, I think we've got to remember things are very different from 95. We've reduced leakage nearly by half the levels that we saw then. We've invested 350 million in a grid system, enables us to move water all around the region. But of course, if we do model forward now, and if we were to follow a 95 sequence, then yes, we need to take action and start looking at that now.
Can you rule out restrictions on water consumers going forward this summer?
Well, restrictions is one of the tools that we have within our drought management plan. As we head into very high temperatures, we'll be doing very targeted communications, and what we see from our customers is they adapt their behaviour, they're very inventive in Yorkshire, and that makes a difference. But of course we can't rule out restrictions later in the year.
Is it not the case that, you know, with climate change especially, shouldn't you be spending more money on leakage?
Yeah, well, within this period, we have been investing an additional £30 million on a lot of smart technology, really forefront of the leakage world. We also continually look at our water resource planning, and we predict forward 25 years.
So the message from Yorkshire Water is clear. With no significant rainfall forecast, if demand from Yorkshire Water customers doesn't fall, there's a real risk of water restrictions in the coming months for the first time since 1995.
Our climate correspondent Paul Hudson there. In other news, police have recovered a body from a canal in West Yorkshire after concerns were raised for the safety of a teenager. Emergency services attended the air and colder navigation and discovered the body of a teenage boy. He's believed to be from the Wakefield area. His family have been informed and are receiving support. A murder investigation has been launched after a body was found near Brierley in South Yorkshire yesterday. The body hasn't been formally identified yet, but it's believed to be that of 29-year-old Abby Fisher from Castleford, who'd been reported missing. A 29-year-old man has been arrested on suspicion of murder. And the family of a 19-year-old girl from York say she died within weeks of being told she had cancer, despite repeatedly trying to get seen by a doctor. Amelia Ellaby first found a lump during lockdown, and after a phone call with her GP, she was referred to York Hospital for a scan. Well, a year later, she was still waiting. A trip to A&E in March this year revealed the cancer had spread. She died a few weeks later. Amelia's aunt helped her take care of her while she was ill.
I was angry and upset by it, but I just had to stay strong for Amelia and be supportive to her, because I think it was more upsetting and annoying for her at the time. We're just getting through each day best we can, really.
You miss her?
Yeah.
The York Hospital Trust said in a statement that its sympathies were with Amelia's family. If a referral is made to investigate a potential cancer, then this is fast-tracked and would usually be done within 2 weeks. Amelia's GP practice, the York Priory Group, says it can't comment on confidential cases. Well, finally, some sport just before we go. And England played a sensational match against Norway tonight, with the Lionesses squad featuring 5 players born in our region. Whitby's Beth... My goodness, a hot night for playing football.
Absolutely. 24 degrees out there at the moment. It's going to be a very uncomfortable night to come for sleeping. Tomorrow, more cloud around, but there will still be some sunshine in places. A bit of relief behind this cold front on Wednesday. Cooler conditions, but still fine, dry and sunny. So temperatures really holding up tonight. Cloud filtering in from the west. This is a look at the minimum overnight temperatures. Some spots no lower than 19 degrees Celsius. So tomorrow, variable amounts of cloud. There'll be some hazy sunshine at times. There is actually a risk of 1 or 2 light showers, but most of us will stay dry. Temperatures at the Yorkshire Showground around about 24, 25 degrees. Highest temperatures across South Yorkshire, 27 Celsius, 81 Fahrenheit. Further ahead then, it's dry all the way. Fresher Wednesday through to Friday, but temperatures really taking off again through the weekend, perhaps as high as 32 degrees by Sunday. That's the forecast.
My goodness. Dave Edwards will be back with you in the morning. Goodbye.